unmasking a killer who'd ghoulishly hidden the body of one of his victims in a cooler he used to deliver homemade granola bars to his customers.
He tries to shut the lid of the cooler and it won't shut because her arms keep springing up. Because rigor set in.
A man who at the time he said them was already sitting in a prison cell, convicted, sentenced, contained, and yet somehow that sentence lands like a warning. Because Travis Forbes wasn't just confessing to what he did. He was hinting at what nobody has found yet. Think about that image for a moment. A white van rolling through the pre-dawn streets of Denver, granola bars in the back, and a 19-year-old girl sealed inside a cooler, her arms pressing against the lid because rigor mortis had already set in. That is not a crime of passion. That is a man who finished the job, drove to his bakery, and went to work. That image, the granola bar cooler, is the whole story. Ordinary on the outside, unthinkable on the inside. Before we go deeper into what the evidence actually shows, make sure you are subscribed to Audit the System, because we do not just cover the story, we follow the evidence. Kenya Monhester was 19 years old. She had enrolled in college. She was paying her own rent, working a customer service job, and telling people she wanted a career in broadcasting. Her stepfather, Tony, described her as a bright light.
Just blew my mind because she was just so happy, always brought so much joy to the house, made everybody happy.
She was like a bright light for everyone, so.
Your sister was a pretty thing.
She was beautiful. Everybody, all the guys. I remember at school, I used to be like, oh my goodness, like what's going on? Why do all these guys keep talking to me about my sister?
Kenya had such a kind heart, she even taught a Sunday school class that she had started up herself for the younger kids at her local church.
She had leadership qualities, but she was no different than any preteen or teenage girl either. You know, I still had to get on her about homework, cleaning, boys, phones, all the normal stuff.
But Kenya had grown into a beautiful young lady who just enrolled in college after graduating high school, with dreams of carving out a career for herself in broadcasting.
It appeared to me that she liked it because of her being in front of the camera and doing these types of things.
Her sister said she was beautiful. Her brother said the pain of losing her has never left. She taught Sunday school. She looked after her younger siblings. She was by every account a young woman in the middle of building something. That matters, because what happened to her was not random chaos. It was a sequence of decisions made by one man at every step of a single night that ended her life, the night of April 1st, April Fool's Day. Kenya went out with friends to a club in downtown Denver. She was underage. She had a fake ID. She got drunk, far more drunk than her friends who had been drinking the same amount. Her behavior did not match her consumption.
They said it was because of intense intoxication. She was so drunk that they had to kick her out.
Into the empty streets of Denver in the early hours of the morning, wearing a black miniskirt and red high heels.
Without her purse, without her phone, without her jacket, you know, and so...
Who had all that stuff?
Her friends did. That was left in the bar.
It's so out of character for Kenya that Tony immediately suspects someone at the club may have spiked her drink.
She was just so out of control. Her friend said they were drinking together and no one had more than anyone else did. And they didn't feel out of control or anything like that.
And her actions did not match the amount of alcohol she had.
Correct.
So maybe someone did slip a drug in her drink.
That is what we believe.
The working theory shared by her family and investigators is that someone spiked her drink. She was ejected from the club. No purse, no phone, no jacket, black miniskirt, red heels, empty streets at 2 in the morning. She didn't deserve what happened to her. Nobody does. Travis Forbes sent a text to her phone the next morning. Hey, this is Travis, guy from last night, white creepy van. Did you get home? Read that again, white creepy van. He described his own vehicle that way.
I said, hey, this is Travis, guy from last night, white creepy van. Did you get home okay? That night, that text message on her phone, it said, hey, this is Travis, guy from last night, white creepy van. Did you get home okay?
And then he went on to give detectives a story. A clean, logical, cooperative story. About dropping her at a gas station, watching her walk off with a stranger, and spending the rest of the night at his girlfriend's house. His girlfriend confirmed it. The story held. For a while. Here is where the evidence speaks louder than any testimony. Investigators searched Forbes' bakery. They find surveillance footage of him wheeling a cooler into the freezer the night Kenya vanished. The cooler has been bleached. The drain plug carries a single human cell. His van smells like bleach. New carpet on the floor. This is not a man processing grief. This is a man processing a crime scene.
There, they unlocked literally chilling surveillance video of him wheeling his cooler into the freezer the night Kenya vanished.
Anything in it?
Bleach.
Bleach bottles, or it had been bleached?
It's been bleached. It was washed. We found one human cell on the drain plug.
On the drain plug of the cooler?
Yeah.
And when they search his white van, it oddly appears to have been scrubbed spotlessly clean.
It smells like bleach in this van. There's new carpet on the floor. Something ain't adding up.
And he is doing it methodically, calmly, on camera, in his own place of business. He didn't deserve to walk free for another day. And yet he did. Police surveillance ends. 48 hours later, in Fort Collins.
Another young woman is ferociously attacked in Fort Collins.
What does he do?
He attempts to kill Lydia Tillman.
Breaking into Lydia's apartment, raping her, strangling her, and mercilessly beating her senseless before dousing her with bleach and leaving her to burn to death.
Her apartment is set on fire.
But a brave Lydia miraculously escapes with her life.
She jumps out a second story.
A woman named Lydia Tillman is attacked in her apartment, raped, strangled, beaten until her jaw is shattered, doused in bleach. Her apartment set on fire. She jumps from a second-floor window to survive. DNA recovered from under her fingernails matches Travis Forbes. His alibi collapses. Cell phone records show...
He tells Denver PD Detective Groulet Kenya had fallen asleep in his van.
He says he has sex with her when she's asleep. He says that she wakes up and she's upset. She slaps him for having sex with her when she's asleep. And he chokes her, kills her.
And puts her body in a cooler that he has had in his van to deliver his homemade granola bars to customers.
He talks about how he tries to shut the lid of the cooler and it won't shut because her arms bringing up, because rigor set in. So he closes the cooler and tapes it shut. So for hours, he drives around with Kenya in a cooler in the back of his van.
Then takes her back to his bakery where everything he does next is captured on security video.
He gets a little cart, puts her on the cart, takes the cooler into the freezer.
Before later dumping the evidence in a barrel.
Takes her out of the cooler.
Takes her out of the cooler.
Takes her out of the cooler, strips her, washes her with bleach, strips himself, washes himself with bleach, takes everything out of the van, washes it down, sprays it down with bleach, and burns it in that barrel.
His phone was never near his girlfriend's house on the night Kenya disappeared. His girlfriend was lying. She is arrested. He didn't deserve to walk free for another day. Now here is the question that should stop you cold. Forbes told investigators in his own confession that there are more victims out there. Not might be, are. I want to confess so bad, he said. There are more victims out there we don't know about. It's just a matter of time before they come up. He called himself evil. He used the word sociopath. And then he went quiet. So ask yourself, if a convicted killer sitting in prison with nothing left to lose still will not name the others, what is he protecting? What is he waiting for?
I want to confess. I want to confess so bad.
Because there's more victims out there we don't know about? That it's just a matter of time before they come up? Why are you nodding your head yes, but you don't say anything?
What do you make of this man? Is he a serial killer?
He could be. Yes.
Forbes himself says the world would be horrified to know his secrets.
When everything comes to light, it's going to be horrific. Horrendous.
And Kenya's dad says he certainly wouldn't be surprised to learn that she wasn't the only young woman Forbes had murdered.
Do you believe that Travis Forbes is a serial killer?
I believe Travis Forbes is a serial killer, yes.
He didn't deserve to walk free for another day. Not one. Travis Forbes is currently serving a life sentence in Colorado for the murder of Kenya Monhester and the attempted murder of Lydia Tillman. The full case record, including Forbes' plea agreement and the Denver District Court sentencing documents, are publicly accessible through the Colorado Court's online portal. We encourage you to read them. And when you do, come back here and answer one question in the comments. Do you believe Travis Forbes killed before Kenya Monhester? If this case matters to you, and it should, like this video, share it, and subscribe to Audit the System. Turn on notifications, because we are not done following this evidence. And neither, it seems, is Travis Forbes.